What I'm about to say may not make sense to you right now. It sure didn't make sense to me either when I first started trading, which was about 5 years ago. Yeah, I think about 5 years ago. You see, I came from years of success in the external world. By external world, I mean world outside of trading, investment banking, hedge funds, businesses. On paper, I had it all when I started trading. The experience, the knowledge, the education. I thought that alone guaranteed my success in trading. I mean, how difficult could it be? I've done this for years for others. I was sure that I could do it for myself. And at first, that was true. I remember my first year, I made a lot of money and I was very excited. It came easy and I thought it will just continue to be like that. But in the second year, I started losing. Third year, I lost more until eventually my fourth year, I gave back all the gains and more. And that was a turning point for me. Breaking point, turning point. You can call it whatever you want, but something had to change. That moment, then I realized that I could not trade to save my fucking life. That was the truth. I thought I could, but years of losses showed me that I couldn't. And me being a stubborn son of a bitch, me trying to prove to myself that I'm a winner, I kept on fighting and fighting and fighting until the market just simply took all that money away from me and more. My ego had to be tamed. So I made a decision. I would do whatever it takes, absolutely whatever it takes, not to make the money back, no, but to understand why I could not do the things I knew I could do, why I could not simply follow a set of rules. I wanted to understand why I could not succeed. And that decision took me down a very difficult and different path, a path I didn't expect. Because what I discovered was this: success in trading isn't about the market, it is about us, it is about you. If you ever tried making day trading your main source of income, you would know. Fears, the thinking, sleepless nights, the fear of missing out, the emotional roller coaster of greed, hesitation, fear, self-doubt, all of those emotions. In trading, we're not really fighting the market, even though sometimes it seems like we're fighting the market. In reality, we're fighting ourselves. That's the simple truth. Our fears, our frustrations, our insecurities, our limiting beliefs, all of those things, they come up when we trade. And unless we face those parts of ourselves, really face them and address them, we will keep circling back to the same result, to the same baseline. And as a result, the same account balance. Because the account balance is a reflection of ourselves. And I've seen it happen not only for myself, but for countless others. People make a fortune and then give it all back in a handful of trades, sometimes even one trade. And then they look at the screen, not knowing what just happened. How could they jeopardize months, years sometimes of success and jeopardize all of this in one day? The subconscious pulls them back to where they believe they belong. That is what is happening. Because the truth is, the market exposes everything we're trying to hide. Our fears, our doubts, our limiting beliefs, our hesitations, and most of all, our ego. Markets doesn't care about past achievements, about the degrees, about years of experience in the financial markets doing something, in being successful. Market only reflects back who we are right now in this particular moment. And for me, that was a brutal realization that I was simply not the kind of person then that could be successful in trading. I had to confront my own perfectionism, my need to control the outcome, my subconscious fears whispering to me that I'm not worthy of holding on to big gains and success, that big money has to be earned through adversity. And trading showed me those patterns within myself, patterns I had carried with me for years. It wasn't really about the charts anymore, I realized. It became about becoming a different kind of a person who could face fear without flinching, a person who could act without hesitation, a person who could win and still remain balanced and calm. That transformation didn't come cheap. Absolutely not. I paid for it in blood. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses, sleepless nights, and the worst part of it all, knowing exactly what I should do and simply not being able to do it. That simply was driving me insane to a point where I actually started changing. That's how significant the pain was. But through that pain, I have learned about patience, about detachment of outcome, about the discipline. But first and foremost, the most important thing that trading has showed me and taught me was about self-awareness. Self-awareness of knowing myself better, seeing my blind spots, understanding things, limiting beliefs that keep on pulling me back to the baseline and changing that baseline to a new one that allows me to be a consistently profitable trader and to do what I said I was going to do, despite my mind and body sometimes telling me to do the opposite. Somebody who is capable of following the rules. And slowly I became someone I hardly recognized, calmer, more balanced, more in control about what is happening in my life. Not of the markets, no, of myself. This is why I named this channel A Silent Path, because this journey is silent. There's no cheering crowd, no colleagues to pat us on the back, no boss to give us a raise or a bump in our salary or a bonus. It's just you versus you. Simple as that. And at night, when we're alone with our thoughts, it's just us. During the day, alone with our decisions, every single trade is a mirror, is a reflection of who we are. Simple as that. And even though trading became so popular recently, the truth is, to succeed, you must walk this path alone. Nobody can do it for you. There are no shortcuts, no magic indicators, no gurus that will give you a holy grail of how to make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in the market. None of that stuff is real. And my intention with this channel isn't to hand you a blueprint, but it is to share my journey, to share my insights, the lessons, the mistakes, the breakthroughs, to give proper guidance when guidance is needed. Because while I can guide you, the path itself, it's yours to walk. Over the past few years, I've tried it all. I copied other traders. I chased every strategy. I followed signals. I burned accounts. I hit walls of desperation. And every single time, I came back to the same truth. Before I could win in the market, I have to win within myself. I have to become the kind of person who can actually succeed and be consistently profitable. I had to change many things about myself. So mindset first, then strategy, then the results. You can't skip steps. You can't have discipline without a strategy, and you can't stick to a strategy without mastering your emotions. As Richard Dennis, the man behind the Turtle Traders, once said, I could publish my rules in the newspaper, and most people would still not follow them, even though they knew that following the rules have made Richard Dennis hundreds of millions of dollars. Because, my friends, it's not about knowing what to do. Everybody knows what to do. It's about actually becoming the kind of person who can do it. This is the journey. This is the silent path. Welcome.